Yeah, so we're still, yeah, on my product that I've got, I can kind of
scan, it's not as tight.
Yeah, on my product that I can see, there might be one just off to the west of the Greenfield area, and there's another one back off from there to the northwest by maybe a couple miles. On scope, you can see it out a little bit better there. But yeah, maybe by Greenfield, west of Greenfield, might be looking at a little bit of a circulation that shows up there. Back to reflectivity, that's where there's a small little notch, a small little inflow notch right there just to the west of the Greenfield area. So if it's there, that would make sense. But there might even be another spot that is back into more of the storm itself that might be rain wrapped. There could be another smaller area of circulation that we're kind of keeping an eye on. So still kind of cycling. That will tend to happen when you've got all the storm mergers and interactions that are happening right now. So that's going to be just another thing to watch for over the next about 15 minutes or so. So we've got, again, large severe thunderstorm area encompassing our tornado warning. We've got large hail also with this too. As Peyton has shown on our hail product there, we can see easily spots of at least 2-inch in diameter hail, if not even bigger than that. I think the warning is for 2 inches still at this time. But again, shows you that this storm remains very strong, and it's got a chance for producing a tornado as well as very, very large hail. So either way, we're looking at the chance for damage. And like we also just said too, Watauga had on their Mesonet site a gust of 77 miles an hour. So also able to produce some extremely strong winds out of this storm too. So it's got everything basically. And as you also see too, there is a ton of rain associated with it well. So even that flooding potential is there, as that polygon is also flashing out there too. Now, what Peyton's got turned on right now is our rotation detector. There's some small areas of rotation that are occurring within our tornado warned area. It does make sense. There's also another area, a little pocket south of the Thomas area. And if you turn back on to reflectivity for that one, Peyton, you'll see that there's another little notch right there, and then it just got filled back in. So what's going on there, those are more of our interactions. So sometimes they interact, you can get a little spin up, and then it kind of goes away as the whole storm kind of organizes in on itself. That has not necessarily happened so much with our individual supercell out in front, our tornado warning, which is why that area of rotation is still showing up. That interaction, so far at least, hasn't diminished its strength just yet. It could. We can also see them pick up in strength too. But right now it has not done much of an interaction to really kill that off, unfortunately.
We can see that they've definitely merged at this point. The big, both clusters of storms that we've been watching.
I'm sorry, Peyton, say that one more time. They were talking in my ear.
You can see that both the cells have essentially merged now. It's not two separate areas.
Yeah. So there's now no two separate areas anymore. And when that's happening, that might mean that potentially more of our wind threat takes over as more of our dominant type of severe weather, as we'll have more of a potential line of storms. But we're basically right in the beginning stages of this merger. And Peyton, go ahead and just do another 15-minute lapse on it again, just to kind of show people what we're talking about. As our storm has, the tornado warning has now been basically caught up with by the storms off to the west, and we've got more of just a kind of just mess of storms now, but with an embedded circulation still within portions of that tornado warning polygon. So that area south of Watauga is really where we're watching right now for that area of rotation. There might even be a few little spots that we're watching out for, but it's definitely, I think, more on the far southern side of the polygon compared to the northern side. So Watauga, you guys are basically in the clear now from your tornado warning. We'll go back, Peyton, to a kind of closer up view of our tornado warned storm. And let's take a look at our velocity as well, just to see if we can see any more areas of rotation. Yeah, maybe just, well, and it's kind of there gone. Yeah, there might be 1 to 2 spots of rotation just to the west of the Greenfield area, but still Greenfield, Gary, Carnes, Altona, you guys will have to, we'll just kind of keep an eye out for you. You are in the polygon, but sometimes we can have what's called an occlusion, where the area of circulation it occludes, it kind of wraps in around itself, and when that does happen, that usually means that the tornado would be moving in a more kind of northeast direction, which potentially could take it closer. So what I'm trying to say is basically, Altona, even though you're not close to the area of circulation currently, we're going to still make sure that we're seeking shelter right now, because if that is kind of able to spin up the storm, it would be spinning up towards your direction. Right now, Calumet right there on the edge, but Okarche not in the tornado warning. You are, though, in a big severe thunderstorm warning. Concho remains outside of it. El Reno remains outside of it. And we will just see how the storm is able to interact with the other storms that is now caught up with it as the tornado warning continues for the next 7 minutes.
The Weather Service is noting that the area of rotation is weakening as we have more storms develop within the western portion of the metro, especially west of Chickasha. We've seen this pop up near Gracemont over the last few minutes. So it's entering a very favorable atmosphere. Hopefully, as these storms kind of clump together, we have more of that wind risk than that tornadic risk.
Yeah, turn the lightning on, Peyton, and let's do another 15-minute lapse, because those storms that Peyton is talking about, you can see the little cells that are starting to pop up out ahead of the storm. When she animates it, you'll see that they weren't always there. And so what we're seeing is that development is able to occur, and sometimes those storms out ahead of the main line can kind of eat away at some of the moisture as well as the energy to work with. It's a very hot day, it's a very humid day, so there is a ton of fuel to work for these storms. So it's not surprising. We've been talking about the chances for wind a lot for the past few days about today. So it's not surprising that we've got these storms, but it's just going to be, how do these storms out ahead of it? Do they maybe try to kill off some of our storms that are warned right now? Also, the fact that they were moving in different directions, and now they're eventually going to move into one solid direction off to the more east-southeast direction. How does that play into how our storms go for the next couple hours? We have to still kind of see how that goes. But thankfully, though, we've got areas of rotation that are becoming less and less notable and less apparent on the velocity, which is great news to see as things are kind of weakening with that. So, but we'll see what the National Weather Service wants to do when we get to our warning cutoff time. That goes still until 6:45, so we got about 5 minutes left of that tornado warned storm. And it's still slowly moving off to the southeast, but there's still more storms that are back off to the west that still have to essentially crash on into our tornado warning storm.
Yes, I've gone ahead and put this back for the last 30 minutes, and you can see how the cells merge, and especially the more southern development we're seeing.
Yeah, and then it's also down farther to the south, heading towards, from essentially the Hobart area towards Lawton. Those storms are still kind of moving in a more northeast direction like everything else was coming out of the panhandles. So it's, again, going to be just kind of a wait and see how things are interacting. And unfortunately, it's happening, kind of close to the metro area, as we have a ton of fans that are downtown for Game 2 of the NBA Finals. And so we know that we had thunder up in the park that got pushed up earlier for the start time because we knew the storms were going to be occurring. It's just going to be the question of how severe was it going to be. But go ahead.
The tornado warning will be allowed to expire.
Perfect. So we'll hold on to things for the next 4 minutes until 6:45. We'll go back to regular programming after that. But you'll see that, again, that area of rotation, now definitely, Peyton, you can see we've got a lot of little cells that are out ahead of it.
Cells, even from Tuttle, Minco, south of Calumet, west of El Reno.
Yeah, so that does show typically that those are kind of more inflow, and that might just be, they're moving on into the storm, but they're also kind of killing it off too. What's velocity look like on our product?
This is KTLX.
Yeah, so you're going to notice some areas of rotation that are there just because, like, we're again talking about more of those mergers. They may not exactly be anything too concerning at the time.
And this is Vance.
Yeah, so we've got, almost the better area of circulation would be by the Thomas and the Cody area there off to the west outside of the polygon.
Yeah.
Go ahead and turn it back onto our reflectivity and see where that looks like. And that's all, that was probably a cell merger that has happened there. So there might be a new spot there that we have to be concerned about, but hopefully we're not, and we're just looking at this to be just kind of a one-time thing today with our storms. Even still, though, if we lose the tornado warning, we still have to be dealing with strong winds of 75 plus miles an hour with a lot of these storms. They've also been able to produce some very large hail. Once we get to more of the cluster, the line of storms, that chance for hail potential does go down a little bit. The hail chances were a little bit higher earlier this afternoon to about right now for those more individual supercells. But if we get more mergers, the wind threat really becomes our main issue. But even still, with a storm that has very strong winds as we had the past couple nights, you can get those little embedded circulations with a little tornado warning too. So we're going to keep an eye on how these storms progress. Also still looking at huge hail between the Greenfield as well as the Watauga areas. Our product's still showing up as 3+ inches, but the warning itself likely still going for about that 2-inch in diameter hailstone. So that's still a thing right now. The reason why that hail core still exists is because that supercell is still, even though things are kind of merging in on it, it still is holding a little bit of its own individual characteristics, at least right now. The new update that just came through shows that's now way down. So
definitely.
that interaction might be
near Thomas, where we saw the little bit of circulation though.
Yeah. So there's that interaction, and now might be making that little pocket there west of the or east of the Thomas area a little bit more of the area to watch out for. But we've got 2 more minutes left of our tornado warning. We've got a lot of the area is underneath a severe thunderstorm watch. It's kind of confusing how today ended up going. There's technically 3 different watches that are out for the area. It's all blue on the map, but there's actually 3 distinct zones that are out there. The latest one goes until 11, so we'll just say that the latest one goes until 11 o'clock tonight. Yeah, you've got a lot of storms that are within the Panhandle, also showing very much in the way of some of those strong wind gusts. That's why it shows up as that orangey color there. That's for your destructive severe thunderstorm warnings. Yeah, we've got until 11 o'clock for a lot of the area to see these severe thunderstorm watches come to an end. There are other pockets that are going to end earlier than that. What we're going to do is we're going to go back to regular programming because this tornado warning is about to go away, and we'll provide you much more updates on TV as well as on